Let's write the equation for the horizontal line passing through the point 2, negative 1. So we want to write the equation for a horizontal line. To do that, let's start by recalling the general form for a horizontal line. Horizontal lines have this equation, y equals b. Notice, there's no x in this equation. That's because we're working with a horizontal line. With a horizontal line, the only coordinate that matters is the y-coordinate. The x-coordinate doesn't matter. So, all we need to do to get our equation is to figure out what b is. Well, in our problem, we've been given the point 2, negative 1. So let's plug that point into our equation for a horizontal line. We have the point 2, negative 1. 2 is our x-coordinate and negative 1 is our y-coordinate. Well, there is no x in our equation, so we cannot plug 2 in. So we just ignore it. Now negative 1 is the y-coordinate, and we do have a y in our equation. So let's plug in negative 1 for y. We have negative 1 equals b. Hey! We just solved for b. b equals negative 1. All we did was take the y-coordinate from our ordered pair, and that's b. So, to get our equation for this horizontal line, we just need to plug in b into the equation for our horizontal line. So we get that y equals b, which is negative 1. So y equals negative 1. This is the equation for the horizontal line that passes through the point 2, negative 1. Now, we could have figured this out a lot faster just by knowing that we had a horizontal line. Because remember, in a horizontal line, the y-coordinates are the only ones that matter. The x-coordinates don't matter. So, all we would need to do is take our point 2, negative 1, take out the y-coordinate, and set that equal to y. This will give us this same equation. So now we know how to find the equation for a horizontal line.
Write out the equation of the vertical line going through the point 2, negative 1. Well, the first thing that we want to do, because we're working with vertical lines, is we want to remember the vertical line equation. And the equation of a vertical line is actually pretty easy. There's not much to it at all. Every single vertical line that you see is going to have an equation like this. X equals b. And b is going to be some number. So if we figured out what that number b was, well, we'd know exactly what the equation of this vertical line should be. So all we have to do to figure out this number b is we've got to plug in our point. So let's plug in the x that we know. Now when we say x, we mean the x-coordinate that we know. See, we're given the point 2, negative 1. 2 is the x-coordinate. And so we know that that point lies on the line, and when we plug in that x-coordinate, we have to satisfy this equation. Well, when you look at the equation, all we have is an x. So let's take that x-coordinate, put it right in for x, and what we get is that 2 equals b. And oh, that's nice. We were looking for b. We were trying to figure out what b was, and just by using that one point, we know exactly what b has to be. All right, so we're pretty much done. We just got to write down the final equation. Let's write down our equation now that we know what b is equal to. Here it is, x equals 2. Pretty basic. And that right there is the equation for a vertical line that goes through the point 2, negative 1. Remember, a vertical line doesn't really depend at all on the y-coordinate. All that matters is what is the x-coordinate. So as soon as you know that the x-coordinate of your point is 2, then you know automatically that your equation must be x equals 2. And every single point on the line follows this equation.